Another poor start by the Hawks was costly, and although they'd narrowed the gap to 2 goals at half-time, the Bombers unleashed a sensational 9-goal third quarter to sew up the match. Grant Retallick reports.
Essendon were off to a flying start. Terry Danaher finishing off a great build-up. The Hawks' first goal was kicked by Dunstall, the perfect start to his 150th match. But no such luck for Gowes, accidentally struck in the head moments before and stretched it off with concussion. Essendon dominated the first quarter. They had the Hawks under plenty of pressure and capitalised on their mistakes. The second quarter and Dunstall put the Hawks on a roll. A 50-metre penalty set up his third, and the fans didn't have to wait long for his fourth.
Kick 3, left foot, he's kicked 4.
Pritchard put the Hawks in front with an amazing kick from the sideline. But the Hawks suddenly came to a standstill as the Bombers regained control of the match through Buick. The third term and Salmon was making life tough for the Hawks, helping his side extend their lead. It was a great quarter of football for the Bombers, kicking 9 goals to Hawthorn's 4.
Racing into goal is Terry Danaher, and it's another one.
In the final term, Dunstall kicked his 7th for the game to keep his side in touch, but it was fitting that Salmon's 6th goal was the final one for the Bombers, giving his side a 27-point victory. Grant Retallick, 7 Nightly News.
The AFL moves into round 5, and today 2 of the powerhouse teams of the 80s slugged it out at Waverley. The Hawks were coming off a 10-point defeat at the hands of the Saints last week at Moorabbin, while their opponents Essendon were also keen to bounce back after having their colours lowered by dropping their matches of last week. The reigning premiers winning only 2 of their 4 outings so far. The Bombers even worse, and before today on the bottom of the ladder. Both had made changes from last week. Hawthorn forced to replace Mew and Hall, and in the major shock of the season so far, Simon Madden dropped to the 2s for the first time since 1982. Obviously, no place for sentiment at Windy Hill. Superb conditions and a big crowd for the game, which we pick up with some highlights of the first half. Our commentators today at Waverley, Bruce McAvaney, Peter McKenna and Tim Watson.
And the Bombers go forward through Greg Anderson, in towards half forward when Langford has dropped the sitter. Chris Langford, Dean Wallace, now Somerville, now Anderson. A hand pass to Denham, the former Geelong Rover from 45 metres. Fires in a goal, he's kicked the goal.
Somerville long, now Somerville again, left foot smothered by Langford. Here's Jenke. Well, he panicked. Gives O'Donnell a chance. Still O'Donnell. Can kick this, drop punt, wobbly. Does it go through? Yes. Jarman brilliantly done to Brereton, who took it well, and then goes for a short one. Good kick in the end. Platten, clever. Handball, not so clever. Here's Madigan. Switches it back. Ben Allen should kick a goal, and he does, as Kickett's injured.
Pritchard will lead in the race. Will it sit for him? It will. Now he gets onto his right foot. He'll probably look for Dunstall. Here he is. Out he comes, and he marks. Oh, 50 metres it's got to be. Across the head.
Almost suicidal in that instance, but then once the ball had gone, he really should have missed.
Jason Dunstall for his 3rd, and he has kicked it. And Hudson, he waited for the bounce. He should have marked it. On the left foot, he'll hook it back to Dunstall. Dunstall out. Oh, didn't quite mark it. Almost a mark. Glenn Nugent on the left foot. Has goal.
Collins. Lawrence, clever. Platten's 10th kick. Dunstall versus Flood. Tapped on by Hudson. Dunstall. He's kicked 3. Left foot. He's kicked 4. Getting some touches, Danaher. That one Kilpatrick's first touch, but it just fell into Buick. Sold a handball, then squeezes it wide. Good kick in the end, gives Salmon every chance. He's got Izzard inside, goes over the top. Izzard should kick this. Drop punt, 35 metres out. Well, Long will take the mark and kick it for him.
Certainly cost Hawthorn a goal. Tapped down by Somerville was good play. Here's Buick again. Buick from 50 will run. He races in the goal, Darren Buick. And goals.
And Kilpatrick, a late inclusion there in the Bomber lineup at half-time. The Dons doing it well, very accurate, kicking 11-4 to Hawthorn 8-10. Essendon by 12 points at the main change. And that's where we pick up play at the start of the third quarter.
Start of the second half with Essendon going to the right of screen, leading by 2 goals. Umpire Howlett was just checking that the ball had enough air in it a moment ago with Peter Somerville, and everything's in readiness. Chris Danaher with his 11th kick. Ineffectual. Jenke sits and waits, takes a good mark. It was a good mark because it was against the flow.
And he's back in his rightful place at half-back too, Bruce.
Taken off after an error in the first term, caused a goal. Hudson with a nice stretch, not paid. Somerville. Buick, what an important player he is, to Bomber Thompson. His 9th kick coming up to centre half forward. Good kick to Long. Takes the mark, plays on quickly, round the body. Salmon one out versus Langford. Oh, good mark, just too tall. Langford disappointed. And Salmon with that height advantage, and Langford unable, Tim, to get a run at him there, to get any height himself and thump it away.
Yes. Paul Salmon, a huge man, 6'10", and you do need to be able to get a run and a jump, as you said, Bruce, to be able to knock that ball away.
Well, he did miss one. He's kicked a goal, but he missed a goal in the second term that normally he would have kicked comfortably. This one is as easy as you'd get from 30 metres out, directly in front, drop punt. Goal. So Salmon's kicked his second. Essendon sneak away at 12-4 to 8-10, and they've now kicked the last 5 goals in this match.
Yes, and this goal's starting from the half-back line when Buick got a handball over to Bomber Thompson, and Bomber Thompson coming down the ground, a great kick selection then to Michael Long, putting the ball into space. Michael Long, as always, playing straight on, and then putting a reverse kick back into Paul Salmon, and a great mark.
Back to the centre, a vital few minutes coming up here. Hawthorn have to stem the tide as the kick comes up to half-forward Morrissey. A bad hand pass by Morrissey. Straight to Izzard, off the side of the boot. To the half-forward line, there's 1 Hawthorn man and 3 Essendon. Well done, Michael Long. Jarman has to lay the tackle on Thompson. Thompson in towards Salmon again. In front, it's tapped by Scott McGuinness to the line. Good defensive play, but that's not like Hawthorn at half-forward, where Jason Taylor, a young player, had to battle against 3 Essendon players.
Beautiful play by Michael Long. Hip and shoulder to put himself in the position, and then looked the other way and handballed inside to Thompson. Very clever. Salmon doing the ruck work against Langford. Salmon won the tap, laid it down, but Buick couldn't shrug off a tackle. Ayres. This might test Somerville and Lawrence. Somerville got a favourable bounce, goes inside to Kilpatrick, round his body in a hurry. Buick versus Platten. Buick, good mark. An excellent mark against John Platten, who's very disappointed with himself. And a Buick, a goal-kicking rover. Even better, I feel, on the run, but you would back him from here from 30. There's another one. Buick's kicked 2, and the Bombers have got a fly here. They've got a kick start into the second half.
Yes, Essendon be very happy with the way they've started this third quarter. Peter Somerville then not giving the best handball possible to Kilpatrick. He set the ball up a little bit too high for him, but he was able to grab the ball, then screw it back, and Darren Buick took a very good mark over Johnny Platten.
The Bombers by 24 points. Can the Hawks fight their way back into it? Somerville doing well at the centre bounces. The Bombers go forward again. Danaher on the left foot in towards goal. Salmon versus Langford. Salmon, too good. Outposition Langford. Langford was caught underneath it, but Salmon read it better and too strong.
Yes, and young Kilpatrick having another kick in part of that ball coming down the field, and Peter Somerville getting the ball out of the centre once again with a clear tap, and it's very dangerous for his side with the ball going into the forward line that quickly.
So Paul Salmon, dangerous with his height and strength down at full forward, has kicked 2. He is right in front. He kicks and he goals. 5 goals. Essendon lead by
30 points. Buick looking for a free kick. Platten on him. Kick it comes in. Buick only as far as Taylor, but only as far as Chris Danaher. His 12th kick goes wide. Here's Kilpatrick against Pritchard. Another touch for the young man, the 20-year-old. Terry Danaher. Good take by Danaher, but the handball didn't come out in the end. and Pritchard whipped it off him. Goes back to centre wing. Somerville waited. Got a good bounce. Shrugged to tackle. Essendon on top. Here's Kilpatrick. Has to wait for it. Gets it. Short. Not a good kick. Platten half volleys it. Able to rebound it. Then runs around Somerville. Again, a good kick in the end, actually, by Platten to Anderson. Anderson goes short. Oh, good pass. Dunstall on a long, long lead. Brereton one out in the goal square. Dunstall gives him a chance. Kicks it to him and kicks it very well. A good play by Hawthorn. It was a set piece, wasn't it?
I was watching Mark Harvey then line up right next to them and try and move when you feel their body moving also.
It's like a training drill at Glenferrie, that bit of play. Brereton for his first goal. He didn't kick it too well and he missed. Unbelievable. He's not happy. And why should he be? He hasn't had many chances today and he's missed one.
Yes, an unbelievable miss. Top-class players should not miss from 20 metres. Anderson for the half-back line. Taylor wrestling. Mark Thompson caught. Oh, one-handed punch. Not penalised. Danaher, the tackle was on. Now Platten goes in to get it. Tries an underground pass. And now umpire Brendan Carlin will come in and bounce, but really that can be costly to miss them from where Brereton missed it, the bounce. 60, oh, that's almost a free kick against Somerville. Umpire calls play on. O'Donnell, hand pass back. Somerville cleverly, well, he went the tap on, socket off the ground, a half forward. Nugent to Platten. Platten, oh, has it lost, loses it to Bailey. Bailey to Kilpatrick, and the Bombers do it well as the kick right out to half forward. Here's a good battle. Collins, and he takes it over the line with Michael Long hot on his hammer, but now it's down Essendon's end.
Listen, I think Glenn Kilpatrick is starting to find his feet in AFL football in this his first game. Came on the second quarter, quiet player, but already in this third quarter he's had quite a few touches.
Terry Danaher, Lawrence over the back, Buick and Collins, and Hawthorn gained about 15 metres. Well, what a good player Buick's been today. And the Bombers by 29 points at the moment. Lawrence, the star of the grand final in many ways last season. Kick it, oh, well done to Buick. Left foot squares it. Wallace and McGuinness. Wallace taps it only to Jenke though. Jenke around the body. Chance at the back for O'Donnell. Kick it versus McGuinness. McGuinness kept his eye on it. Now Gary Ayres goes short. Gives Pritchard a run. He loves this setup, Pritchard. Drop punt to Brereton. Flood will try and go with him. Darren Jarman and Bomber Thompson. Still Jarman. Misses it in the end. Flood. Thompson. Pressure on him from Morrissey. Now Brereton. Back to Pritchard. Round the body. Didn't really look. Couldn't. The pressure was too much. And Bailey took the mark.
That was a crucial mark then, too.
To the half-back. Chris Danaher has had a good game. The short kick into the centre, the dangerous Buick has got it. He can go wide. Now is he off? Yes, he is. He gets around Condon too slow. The kick in the full forward. Salmon has marked. Good lead. Well, good forward play that. And they certainly look better with Salmon at full forward.
Yes, if we go right back to the other end of the field where Dean Bailey took that crucial mark, there was 3 Hawthorn players around him at the time, and Essendon were able to bring the ball forward. Darren Buick, a very clever player.
Paul Salmon has kicked 3, but it'll be hard for Hawthorn if he kicks this one. He will kick from about 48, well, right on 50. Paul Salmon, it wobbles to the side, and the Hawthorn fans breathe a sigh of relief as it goes through for a behind. So 59 to 89, 5 goals. Don't write off the Hawks yet. They've got a habit of coming back.
Just his distance, isn't it, Sam? He can't quite make it from that far out. Jenke goes wide, looking for Chris Langford. Normally takes the kick-ins himself. Up to centre wing. Grenvold, Hudson, Morrissey. Good grab at the back. Plays on quickly. Grenvold puts some pressure on him. Now Pritchard, who's running far off. Good kick to Dunstall. He does it so often, doesn't he? Dunstall's like a trigger. Every time Pritchard gets the ball, he's off.
It's almost like match practice then for Hawthorn as they took the ball down the ground. They gathered in the huddle from the kick out. Darren Pritchard blocked Paul Salmon's run, which allowed Chris Langford to go free way out on the boundary, and then they brought the ball forward.
Dunstall's kick 4 and misses. So Hawthorn are paying dearly for some opportunities that have gone begging. 8-12 to 14-5. They've had 20 shots to 19, yet trail by 29 points. Terry Danaher couldn't take it. Darren Jarman could. Kicks it back towards Dunstall. Well played, Jarman.
He is a class player, Jarman, Tim, isn't he?
Jarman is a class player, but I still can't believe David Flood attempting then to kick to Terry Danaher. He had a man right on his hammer, and he was also...
The Hawthorn champion has kicked 5 in his 150th game. But most importantly, they needed a goal badly, the Hawks. Essendon have been right on top this quarter. Centre bounce is very important. Platten versus Buick, what a contest. Gary Ayres to Allen. Now they're a chance again, Hawthorn, as Allen goes long in towards full forward. Dunstall and Anderson. Oh, great mark, Anderson. Top mark. Outpointed Jason Dunstall. Forced his way to the front. Now he's looking for someone to give it to. He's going wide to Kilpatrick. In fact, he's got a teammate there in Somerville. Somerville swings onto the right foot. Oh, danger for Hawthorn because Buick is loose. He's got pace. He dummies the hand pass. He'll go to Salmon. Salmon versus Langford. Oh, is that a free kicker in the back? Yes, it is against Langford. So Chris Langford having a shocking day. Salmon too tall and too strong.
There's Chris Langford really in a poor position then, having to push having to push Paul Salmon in the back, and that was a definite free kick.
Well, Paul Salmon has kicked 3, and this is the last thing Hawthorn wanted, a rebound goal, but the big full forward kicks and goals. So Salmon has kicked 4. And Essendon, 15-5.
Somerville versus Lawrence. Here's Chris Danaher. Condon and Somerville. And the point I was going to make, Tim, is that Buick's 17 touches have turned into gold on many occasions today.
Yes, Essendon have always looked like they're going to do something when Darren Buick's had the ball in his hands.
15-9 here. Lawrence goes against Somerville. Somerville gets it, but Allen tackled. Condon tackled. A good tackle on him. A quick kick by Izard. Here's Derek Kickett. He's had a quieter day today. He started very well. Well played, Buick, to kick it to long. This would be champagne if he can goal. Drop punt, and he has. 16-5, 9-12. Tim Watson, that's as good as you'll ever see.
That is delightful play. You know, sometimes the most important kick in a passage of play is the grubby little kick. Alan Izard got a grubby little kick out of the pack, but it created the play downfield to Buick, who was on his own.
Platten goes to Hudson. Now Ben Allen. The short one is on. Oh, Dunstall races at it. He traps it. He's looking. Oh, he should have given it, kicked it quickly. It's tapped away. Hudson is there. Oh, he went for it one-handed. Morrissey a fumble. Socket off the ground as players had scooped out. The Bombers through Bailey. Now Anderson. And they did it well, Essendon, out of trouble. To the half-forward line. The dangerous Long has got it. Michael Long back to Buick. And Essendon go forward. Izard's on his own. Salmon's one out in the square. He's got to get it to him quickly. Salmon versus Langford. Out comes the big fella. But over the back is Long. He picks up. Handball. Open goal, Terry Danaher, and he is goal. Brilliant football, Essendon. 2 goals to Danaher. The Bombers reply with a quick one. 17-5 plays 10-12. Buick on fire.
And I really believe then that Paul Salmon took his hands away from the ball. He knew that Michael Long was in the vicinity. The ball ran over to Michael Long. An unselfish handball to Terry Danaher, and Essendon really are on fire.
Hawthorn reduced the margin to 23 points. Next goal, vital here. Long. Izard. Oh, played Buick. Improvisation. Flood runs to meet it. Izard Still Izard. He's cheeky, isn't he? To the pocket. In the front was Danaher. Chris Danaher now. Oh, can kick a goal. And hits a post. Well, 12-12, 17-6. Could have run right in.
Yes, he could have handballed it too.
The kick from Langford has found Condon. Loose checking by Essendon. Condon, the long kick. Morrissey pushing and shoving again. He goes to get it. Good play by James Morrissey. He's loose. He's on his own for 20 metres. He should go long to Dunstall. The leader's on, and there's Dunstall, a magnificent lead. On to Ben Allen. Allen into the pocket. Brereton is there, and he's got a teammate, and it's Hudson. Well, if he kicks this, they're right back in at the Hawks.
There's a couple of players who've been fairly quiet today. Morrissey and Hudson figuring in that bit of play. But the Hawks, well, they're not out of this game by a long shot, but they really do need to kick another couple of quick goals before the third quarter ends.
Paul Hudson, a 45-degree angle. 30 metres out. They need it badly. It's slightly to the right. He's missed. Vital missed that one. He hasn't kicked the goal, Paul Hudson. 4 points he has kicked, Paul Hudson, and they need him kicking goals.
Anderson. Lawrence was a big flyer. Platten at the back. You know, you'll just keep going, Platten. Centres it to Dunstall. Well played, though, by Wanganeen, who's been on the boundary line for a lot today and very quiet. A great kick to Spawn, who has a paddock if it sits. Allen will try and run him down. Spawn lopes away, gets some distance. Danaher versus Taylor. Danaher held his ground. Long's been important in this term. The handball didn't find anybody. Izard waits for it. Around his body. Ayres and Collins. Collins smothered it well. Oh, bad play really over the top by Flood. Should have given a free kick away. O'Donnell's going to kick a goal. Drop punt through. 18-6 to 12-13. I thought it was a free kick there to Hawthorn. 114 to 85.
As Alan Izard centering kicked it, and Andy Collins desperately trying to do something with that play. David Flood perhaps giving a free kick away, and Peter Somerville, well, that could almost have been classified as a throw, but Essendon kicking away again.
Gary O'Donnell, 2 goals. Salmon versus Lawrence. The centre bounce vitally important in this game. Back it comes. Anderson caught high. And he's pinged. Oh, boy, it's gone the other way. It's gone the other way, holding the ball. Well, and a loose man, Chris Danaher, receives from Spawn. Danaher over the top. Alan Izard. Back to Danaher. Danaher on the left foot kicks a goal, and a bad miss by Chris Danaher. He should have snaffled that one. 12-13 plays 18-7. Just over 4 minutes of play left in the third quarter.
This Chris Danaher should have put that through, and I see he's the fellow who's been tagging Anthony Condon. Now got the ball after a kick in.
Goes to centre wing. Marked by Terry Danaher. It's been useful today. If you're a veteran these days at Essendon, you've got to play well to hold your place, and he's done all right. Centres it to Somerville at the back. Langford caught by O'Donnell. Tried to charge through. Well played, Lawrence. Nugent trapped it cleverly. Wanganeen was able to stop his run, though. Nugent's handball was good to Anderson. To Pritchard. Well played. Izard to put the pressure on. Now Anderson. Still Anderson to Allen. Allen goes wide to Platten. Platten off one leg. Not a good kick. And Thompson takes the mark and plays it on to Buick. What a game. He'll kick it to Anderson. Anderson will take it and swing around and take off. Here we go. A bounce. It'll be a second one. He can go again. Decides not to. Centres it. Somerville at the back. O'Donnell's kicked 2 already. Still can't get away. Caught by Jenke. Somerville and Lawrence. It's still Essendon with a chance. Chris Danaher. Courageous mark. Players going up and down in the one spot here.
Well, tell me that, was that holding the ball at half forward or not?
It had a lot of chances and then got caught.
Unbelievable.
It had forever. Chris Danaher short to Salmon. Gets him. But Salmon, this is the range, Tim, that he has problems with. Lawrence in the hands of the trainer. As he's getting his breath back, if Salmon kicks this with 2.5 minutes remaining, Hawthorn are going to really be battling. He's kicked 4. This is about as far as you'd expect Salmon to kick the footy. Drop punt. He's timed it well. He kicked it very, very well for a goal. 5 goals for Salmon. 19-12. And the Bombers so far have had all the answers.
Yes, they have, and I've been very impressed with the way they've played in this third quarter. A moment ago when the Hawthorn players went forward and they were trying to create a loose man, but they really couldn't break free from the pressure from the Essendon players up the field.
Back to the centre. Salmon, a big fist away. Ben Allen runs at it. Gary Ayres to Anderson, who's lost it, and the Bombers, they're loose men everywhere. Racing into goal is Terry Danaher, and it's another one.
To top form, Salmon 6, Danaher 3 and Long 3 for Essendon. And for Hawthorn, Jason Dunstall 7 goals, Jarman 3, 32,509 at league headquarters, and there were no reports. Our next game, North Melbourne.